Hello everyone, happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you have a good one with your family, and I thought what we would do is, with this video, talk about some news items that have been going around in War Thunder. We have a changelog, we have a vehicle on sale, and then also at the same time we have of course the future plans when it comes to War Thunder and what's going to happen for the rest of the year. Obviously, we are pretty far through this year, but as we know with War Thunder, it ramps up aggressively in the last few months, and that means November and also December will be a pretty crazy time. I'd also like to let you know that soon I will be changing over my decal that's in the game, so if you want the original one, this would be the time to pick it up. Anyway, let's get into the news. As always, if you enjoy the content, make sure to subscribe and also like the video. Let's get started. The first piece of news is a changelog update 2.49.0.54. This one wasn't a huge one, but it did actually fix something which was kind of annoying, and it was with the T-80, the USSR vehicle. So basically all the variants that were around, there was a bug in the damage model that caused some shells in the hull's ammo rack to stick out on the side of the hull, and that's been fixed. And I'm guessing this is probably the same bug that the Delat Torn had back in the day. If you don't know, the Delat Torn is a really interesting vehicle when it comes to Sweden. It actually has an interesting loader and also at the same time just kind of fun to play. But one of the issues it had is when you rotated the turret, the ammo that was in the vehicle would also rotate with it. So it wouldn't actually stay inside of the vehicle, it would actually move outside of the vehicle. So you could machine gun the ammo and it would explode and your vehicle would explode. I'm guessing the same thing was happening with the T-80, where when you rotated the turret, the hull ammo would leave the vehicle and then you could machine gun it to death. It basically means that you have no survivability whenever you've turned, and also I suppose if you're taking a lot of rounds. Usually for me with the T-80, I kind of just fill up the autoloader and then don't really take anything else, but maybe with the autoloader changes, people are bringing in more stuff, so who knows. There's also a few other things. So the Z11WA, the camera position in the cockpit view has been corrected so that the sight can be used. There was a bug that caused the MFDs in the cockpit to not function, and that's also been fixed, so that's kind of nice, especially after the updated cockpit. And also graphics, multiple bugs with water flow simulation effects around ground vehicles have been fixed. So overall, that's actually really cool to see. And if you actually test drive the EFE right now, you can actually see some of those simulation effects. They look really nice, and you know, it's basically just come out in time for the EFE 2. The next piece I want to talk about is, of course, the future when it comes to War Thunder. Of course, we have two more major updates this year. There's usually one at the end of October and early November, and then also one just before Christmas in December. Now, these two areas are major updates. They are two of the five which we have a year. And as I said, when it comes to War Thunder, you get like two major updates in the first part of the year. Then the second part, or at least the last 4 months, you get three major updates, and everything just kind of, you know, becomes a catalyst and just explodes by the end in December. And that's basically the period where we're in now. You also have the anniversary of War Thunder, which is always celebrated around the 1st of November. You usually have a bunch of sales at the end of October going into November, and also an event, a Dreams Come True one, which usually focuses on a World War II vehicle. Last time it was a KV, I believe the KV-7, but also we've had many others over the years which have been really cool too. I'll probably do a video talking about which vehicles I would like to see, and of course it would be nice to hear what you guys want to see from these types of events. Also, the EFE event is coming to an end pretty soon, so we'll probably have another air event which will turn up after that. And then also on top of that, guess what? The Battle Pass is ending, and it's basically only got 8 days left. So the next Battle Pass that we have will probably be announced this week and will also be the last one for the year, since they usually last around 3 months. So overall, you've got a lot of stuff going on over just this short period of time. And also, one of the things that Gaijin said about stuff like World War Mode is we would hear a bit more about it this year. We haven't yet, so maybe we're going to see a bit more about World War Mode. There's also, of course, the esports events that are going on, with one of them just finally wrapping up. I think we have one more for the year, so if you want your free stuff, you can kind of go and have a look at those. The monthly decals also just got released recently, so that is another kind of string to the bow of what is going on. And at the same time, there is also all of the other events that are going to come this year, including probably a large winter event, which will be 4 vehicles and back in the original format. That's something that they actually carried on doing last year, even with the new event format. So kind of cool to see that that was the case. So as you can tell, there's just a ton of stuff going on. There's a metric amount happening in War Thunder just over a small period of time, and keeping up with it is going to be interesting. I'll try my best, and I'll try to make sure that basically everything is covered and everything is sorted, but if I miss some, I apologize. We'll get better or get closer to it, as always. So, let's get into some discounts. Another discount is happening with the USS Cowl, which you can see here. Basically, Gaijin is celebrating the US Navy's 250th birthday, and they brought back the USS Cowl from the 13th of October until the 16th. It's available at a 30% discount, and also at the same time, you can get yourself a US Navy Jack ship flag. If you want to see where it is in the game, go to Achievements, obviously Holidays, you have the Moments of Valor stuff, but also you have the US Navy birthday. So all you have to do is get 10,000 mission score using American ships or boats, rank 3 and above, and you'll get yourself a pretty cool flag. That is pretty awesome. It's one of the unique things that good old Navy has, where you can actually put a different flag on your machine, which I think is cool. You can see here the flag of America, but we could change it to this, and you actually get to kind of show it, which I think is really cool. So with the USS Cowl, it's a 4.7 vehicle. What it is a premium version of the Fletcher. The Fletcher is a fantastic vehicle. It's one of those which has the 5-inch guns, which have a great fire rate, and the Cowl is absolutely no different. The basic difference between the Cowl and the Fletcher is the Cowl is technically a little bit more pay to win. It has a better secondary armament. It has 5 40mm dual Bofors and 7 20mm, where the Fletcher only has a dual 40mm and 6 20mm. So the Cowl just has more of an armament difference and means it's better against aircraft and also smaller machines. But all of the other stuff is pretty much the same. This was kind of the standard for a lot of these kind of starter premium destroyers that they added to the game. They were just the same as the ones in the tech tree, they were just better. So the 5-inch guns, as I said, they have a really good fire rate, and also they have a really good targeting speed. Even if you're out of the first stage, the fire rate is still fantastic. They also have access to some really good shells in the form of the common shells, which still have a lot of TNT equivalent and also good penetration. They're multi-purpose. They have HEVT, so you can go after aircraft as well, and also the standard HE if you just want to lump HE at vehicles. The only area where the American destroyers kind of struggle is with the torpedoes. These torpedoes only go 9 kilometers compared to some of the other nations which go 20 kilometers at the SPR, such as Japan, but everything else about them is really nice. They also have this additional anti-fragmentation armor that a lot of other nations do not get, so you actually get increased survivability compared to many others. And at least for me, I think that's actually really cool. You also have some anti-fragmentation armor on the turrets and also up here too, giving increased survivability to the vehicle itself, and even on the top, so you can't just even, loop the shells in, it will actually stop them. So overall, the Cowl is actually a really nice vehicle. The only problem is, when it comes to the American tech tree, you already have a ton of other ones, which are great. The Moffat has obviously been kind of neutered because of its BR. It's still very good. It just isn't as good as it used to be. And then also you have stuff like the Phelps, if you're able to get access to it, and also the Davis, which is just a Somas class. The Helena is still very good, especially after the BR decompression. Then you also have the Demoney, which also exists. So if you're looking for a vehicle that has good rewards and also is still at a decent BR compared to many of the other very powerful American vehicles that have gone up in BR, I think the Cow's not a bad pick, so would be worth having a look at. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.